Hey yo everybody, Figure This Customs back with another action figure video. It has been a long time since I've uploaded anything. The holidays were crazy, but awesome. I'm so glad to be back though, doing this video for you guys. Now that the year is officially over, I think it's time to do a top 10 Marvel Legends action figures of 2019. So what we have right in front of us here are not my top 10. These are the runners-up. This is essentially spots 11 through 26. There's actually 11 figures here. I could have just done 10 more, but I think I only bought this many legends plus the top 10 that I'm going to show you guys, so I figured why not include just the final 11. I love all of these figures. I wouldn't have bought them or held on to them if I didn't, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to see the top 10 Marvel Legends of 2019. So without further ado, let's go with number 10. Alright, so kicking off our top 10, here we have Marvel Legends Scorpion from the Molten Man Build-A-Figure Wave. Now, this is a figure that when I saw the promo images for it, I was not super excited. I was probably going to pass on it. But then when it came out, I picked it up for a friend of mine, a buddy actually, in a Toy Hunters group, who he wasn't able to get his hand on it. I found it, bought it for him, pulled it out of the package to ship it to him, and I started messing with it, and I loved it. I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is so great. And I've always loved Spider-Man. It's Rogues Gallery, and Scorpion has always been one of my favorites. And I actually did own the old Toy Biz one, which was really impressive for a number of years. But I did end up selling it. And this, again, I don't want to necessarily compare it to that, but honestly, this really does hold its own. Like, I do like the shiny plastic that they use for the suits. I don't mind the green mouth because I looked it up and that's actually accurate to a lot of the comic images, so that's cool. I do love that they sculpted in all these lines. That's just so cool. They did that all along the tail and all along the bodysuit, so just a lot more love and care went into this figure than I first anticipated. And of course they have the bendy wire tail, which is just the best thing you could ask for in a Scorpion figure. That just makes him a lot more fun, a lot more menacing on the shelf, and just so much more playability with this guy. So he was a sleeper hit for me. And he also does have the really cool ball joint articulation in the abdomen, which I am hoping they continue to use for more Marvel Legends figures just because it's so awesome. It's so welcome. And I'm glad they keep on doing experimental things with figures like this at this price point. And that's just so awesome. So number 10 spot goes to Marvel Legends Scorpion. He definitely deserves it. And sitting comfy at the number 9 spot is the Marvel Legends Kingpin Build-A-Figure. I know including a Build-A-Figure on a top 10 list can sometimes be a little dicey, but I'm still factoring in like the cost and availability, and I paid like well over $80 to get all the pieces for this guy, and it is still so worth it because he is so good. It is just everything that you would really want out of a Kingpin figure. It fits in great with my Daredevil set, and that's what I wanted it for. I needed it. I needed him for that set, and he did not disappoint. The articulation is good for the size of the figure. I like the alternate head that he comes with. I love this, just the detail on like the suit, the purple tie, and the ring. I love his diamond cane that he has, so it's just all around, it's a great figure, and I don't even collect a lot of Build-A-Figures, but this was one that I had to have. But because he is a Build-A-Figure, that's why he's a little lower on the list. Amazing figure, totally worth the money, but he's at the number 9 spot. And at the number 8 spot, we have Marvel Legends Nightcrawler from the Wendigo Build-A-Figure Wave. Another must-have for any X-Men fan, not just because he's an important X-Men character, but because he's a great figure. Honestly, the articulation on this guy is better than most Spider-Man figures out there, which is just very important for a very acrobatic character like Kurt Wagner here. And this is just such an awesome representation of the character. I know some people are disappointed about the non-bendy wire tail, but honestly, this tail is posed in such a way that I really don't have any problems with it at all. That's not even a gripe for me. Honestly, the articulation's great. I love the alternate heads that he comes with. He's got the neutral, he's got the smiling, he's got the angry face. I love that he has the sword, because that's just another important detail for Nightcrawler, be it in the Excalibur comics or in any of the video games. Nightcrawler usually wields a sword of some sort. So this is just another must-have for everybody, and it's definitely one that people won't be disappointed with. And I definitely wasn't. So I'm really glad to have him on my shelf, and glad that he's number 8 in my top 10 list. And sitting at spot number 7, we have Marvel Legends Charles Xavier in his hover chair from the Ultimate Riders Wave. This is just such an awesome idea, such an awesome figure, and it's been on a lot of people's wish lists for a long time. Now me, I grew up watching the X-Men movies, and so I actually didn't really know too much about the hover chair. I was expecting more of a traditional wheelchair idea. So when I saw this, I wasn't super excited, but when I saw it in person, I was like, who am I kidding? I need this figure. And I got it, and I love the absolute heck out of it. And if you go back and watch any of the older interviews with like JC or Shartimus Prime with the interviews they're doing with the Marvel Legends guys at Comic-Con, you can count how many freaking times they asked them if they would ever do a Charles Xavier with a Build-A-Figure hover chair or something like that. It was crazy. It was annoying how many times they would ask that. Like every year they would ask that. And the Marvel Legends guys, of course, they can't reveal anything, and so they just kind of dodged the question. But they gave it to us in the best way possible. It wasn't a Build-A-Figure. It was from their own Writer's Wave, which is a great idea, honestly. And they cashed in on it completely. It's totally worth the price. I'm really glad that I picked it up. And it's a staple for anyone who's an X-Men collector, anyone who's a fan of the animated series, or anyone who just likes sort of a cool gimmick, honestly. Like this chair, I like the hover effect that it came with. I like to display him just a little lower to the ground, but I do like that effect. And I love that he has these like panels for the buttons and controls on his chair. That's just super cool. I love the hands that he has, so he can do his, just signature poses, whether the hand splayed out or the hand on the head. And I do love his Cerebro helmet, and we're not even going to talk about that random accessory that he came with, that sorry excuse for a mind effect or whatever it was. But other than that, this guy is absolutely perfect, and you really won't regret getting him in your collection. And the number 7 spot in this top 10 list goes to Mr. Sinister from the Marvel Legends Wendigo Build-A-Figure Wave. This has always been one of my favorite characters, due in a large part to the X-Men Legends 2 Rise of Apocalypse video game. That's the first time I saw the character, and I just love the design of him. I love the idea of him, just always plotting behind Apocalypse's back. It was just so cool to me. And so I love that Marvel Legends treated him to such a good figure. I did own the Toy Biz one a while back, and that was a great figure for the time, but I really do love the updated Hasbro articulation, and I'm a much bigger fan of this color palette than I thought I would be. I was more used to the uniform blue for all of his costume, but I like the way that the dark blue accents the lighter metallic blue. I like the stark white of the face. The color red they chose is great. The cape is awesome. The sculpt is great. Everything about this figure just hits on all cylinders for me. I really love it. I think you will too if you're a Marvel Legends or X-Men collector. And halfway through the list, at the number 5 spot, I'm giving it to 3 figures. I know that may be like cheating on a top 10 list, but it's my list, so I think I can get away with it. So I have here the Marvel Legends 80 Years Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. I know that some people have different rankings for these things. They probably wouldn't put them all in the same spot. Some people say the Thor is worse, or some people are like, oh, I don't like the blue on the Captain America. But honestly, I love all of these equally. I cannot live without any of them. Like I wouldn't, there's not much that I would change about them. I know I did swap out the cape here on Thor for a wired cape from GPS Lot. I really like that. And I did switch out the shield just on Captain America with the sculpted lines on the circles there. And it is just a little bit bigger too. And I do like the colors on it. But other than that, like, man, these guys are just so awesome. I was really just taken by surprise, honestly, by the Thor, the Captain America, the Iron Man, like, oh my goodness, I love these figures. They're just such iconic looks for each of the characters. I love that they came with alternate accessories like the blast effects for Iron Man, the throwing shield effects, the alternate hands for Captain America, the alternate heads. I love that Thor came with the alternate hand, and I do like his hammer. I was thinking that the handle was going to be a little short, but honestly, there's a lot you can do with this hammer. I love the inscription on the side. Just, dude, these figures are so cool. They're so cool, and honestly, like, regardless of if you would put them this high in the ranking or whatever, I really do think that they're some of the best Marvel Legends of this year. And for the number 4 spot, I had to give it to Colossus from the Marvel Legends 80 Years Juggernaut vs. Colossus 2-pack. Man, I was so excited when that 2-pack was announced. I literally could not wait for this figure, and I am not disappointed in the slightest. I love the bulk of him. I love the articulation. I love the outfit. I love the paint. It's just so great. And the best part, this Colossus comes with 2 fisted hands, unlike the last Colossus we got that had 1 open hand and 1 closed hand. That's something that really gets my goat. So I'm really glad that they included both options. Honestly, I just love everything about this character. He's been my favorite X-Men ever since I saw him in X-Men 2, X-Men United. Ever since then, I've just always loved Colossus. the idea of him, he's always been my favorite. And honestly, having him in this size and just presence on the shelf really just hits the spot, So number 4 spot, that goes to Marvel Legends Colossus. And taking the number 3 spot, probably a little bit of a surprise to you guys, it's the Marvel Legends Beast from the Caliban Build-A-Figure wave. Now, I know a lot of people have put this guy at the top spot of their Marvel Legends list for 2019, and don't get me wrong, this guy is awesome. He is darn near perfect. But there are 2 other figures that I really do just love a little more when I'm being honest. But that's not to say this guy isn't super cool. I love the articulation on him. The sculpt is just fantastic. I really personally like the head because I do love Jim Lee's artwork, and I love the whited out eyes on my comic book figures. I just can't get enough of it. For people who didn't like the glossiness of the face, I did just hit it with some matte clear coat. I really do recommend you do that. It really does kind of bring a more uniform look to the rest of the figure, but yeah, it really is one of the best Legends of 2019, if not the best. But for my personal list, he's the 3rd one. And in 2nd place on the top 10 list of 2019, we have Marvel Legends Hercules from the Armored Thanos Build-A-Figure wave. If you're surprised this guy is so high on this list, believe me, so am I. I had no clue how much I needed a Hercules figure in my collection until I saw this guy. And that's saying something, okay? Because for a lot of these figures, these characters that really do mean a lot to me, a lot of these X-Men characters and Avengers characters, just characters that I know I'm gonna love and forgive a lot of the mistakes that may be in the figures, it really does say something special when I have no attachment whatsoever to a character and the figure is just so appealing that I have to have it. Not to fill out some part of my display or not to complete some team, but just to play with. And if that's not what this hobby is all about, I don't know what is. Honestly, I saw this dude and I was like, I need that toy. And it made me feel like a kid, and it's so great. I really do love everything about it. The sculpted bit on the pants, the accessories, the way that you can store him on his back, the alternate hands, the deco for the chest hair, the head sculpt. It's so good. And Hercules, he's a character that transcends, comics. He's in movies. He's in Greek mythology. It's a figure that is greater than the sum of its parts, so to speak. And it's one that I definitely think people will be happy with, regardless of if you're a Marvel Legends collector or not. It is an excellent action figure and definitely one of the top Marvel Legends of 2019. And the number 1 Marvel Legend of 2019 goes to Marvel Legends Hulk from the Marvel Legends 80 Years 2-pack Wolverine vs. Hulk. Goodness gracious, this thing is so awesome. And I know I was just talking about how in the last spot I went to Hercules, it was a figure of a character that I didn't have any attachment to, kind of just neutral towards. Well, this is different, because here's another hot take. I don't care too much about the Incredible Hulk. And I know that sounds like heresy to anyone who is any sort of comic book fan at all, especially you Hulk fans out there. Nothing against you guys. I'm glad people love the Hulk. I love that Hulk gets so much love that he gets. He's a cool character. But for me, it's just not something that I enjoy too much. I'm not gravitating towards too many Hulk comics. I liked Hulk in the movies for the most part, and he's a cool character. But for me, he's just not something that I freak out over, so to say. That is, until I got this figure. This thing right here, this piece of plastic, put in me a childlike appreciation, awe, and wonder around this character that I'd never had before. Okay? Just something about holding this in my hand made me feel it. I felt the power and presence of what the Hulk is, what he can do, how unstoppable he is, how incredible he is. And honestly, I didn't know that this figure would do that. When I saw the images, I was like, yeah, I'll get it to fill out my Avengers display, but I had no idea how much I would appreciate this figure. The sculpted ripped up purple pants, A1. Love that. I love the color of green they chose. It is so good. It is just perfect. The head sculpt, it's awesome. It's angry, but it's not too specific of a face that you don't want to display it. The open hands are awesome. The fisted hands, perfect. And even the little lab coat accessory that I thought I was just going to throw off the figure and never use again, it's so cool. It just adds a whole nother aspect to the figure. Again, I'm taken by surprise by this. Maybe some of you guys are too, but for all you Hulk fans out there, trust me, if anything's going to make me a believer in this character, it's this figure. And for me, he is the top Marvel Legend of 2019. So there you have it, folks, your top 10 Marvel Legends action figures of 2019. Technically, I guess your top 12, since I included 3 in one spot. But suffice to say, this has been an amazing year to be an action figure collector, specifically a Marvel Legends collector. If you need any more evidence, just look at this lineup of characters in front of you. There would have been a time in my life when I couldn't have imagined having figures this good at this price point for all these characters. There is truly nothing like a legend. I love this line. I'm so glad that I'm collecting it, and I'm so glad that Hasbro continues to do just these love letters to fans. I love some of the ideas they're doing with the Riders Waves, with some of the Build-A-Figures, with some of the 2-packs. It's been a blessing. But yeah, thanks for tuning into this video, guys. I really appreciate it, considering that I'm a little late to the game. I suppose everybody posts their list videos right before the year ends. I thought I would do it after the year was officially over and I had gotten all the figures that I think I would have had. But if you still aren't tired of list videos, I'm going to be doing at least 1 or 2 more. I want to do a top 10 action figures of 2019 list, just figures in general. I'm really excited for that list because it's the first year where I think I've bought enough figures that I could make a comprehensive list. So yeah, please check that out. I'm going to be uploading that sometime soon, hopefully. And then I do want to do a top 10 customs video, just customs that have been in my collection, things that I hold on to, or maybe it'll just be a custom video. Maybe it won't be top 10. But anyway, look for those down the road. Again, bless all you guys that have actually watched my 4 videos or how many I've posted and have subscribed. That's very kind of you. I really appreciate it. And I've wanted to make this video just so that yeah, you guys could see what I've been up to, what I've been doing. But I really appreciate you guys' patience, and the love for the channel is awesome. Again, if you want to see some more of my work as a customizer, check me out on Instagram under Figure This Custom, same as my YouTube channel. That's where I do all my custom work. I've been working on a lot of Spawn figures lately. Hopefully I'll be doing a review of one of those soon. But yeah, you know, it's been a busy time, but it's been a good time. So yeah, really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. God bless you, and go be yourselves.